One.
We do this for the generation. The generation. We do this for the generation. The generation. Generation. Breaking chains for the generation. Rise up, we gon' make it happen, just tellin' that time's up. Breaking chains, make a chain while running them bands up. Suiting ties, you to buy, depositing grands up. Educating on the millions, come on, let's make a million. We in business buying building, that's how we gon' raise the ceiling. Living legends, what we building. Legacy for our children, did you feel it in your spirit? You speaking, I know you hear it, Lord. Rise up, oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Rise up, oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Come with me. Chain breakers, we break from poverty. Chain breakers, we break from enemies. Chain breakers, break chains off.
Hey, good evening, good people. You are tuned in to another exciting edition of Conversations with Them Too, the Shenanigan Crew. I am Lady Des, and I'm here with my bestie, who I am so proud of, MJ Smith, the golden voice himself. Hey, MJ.
What up, Lady Des? What's up, everybody? Listen, we are so excited for tonight's show because talking about something that is very, very powerful. This past weekend, we had an opportunity to build generational wealth, to learn about it, and to celebrate some amazing community impact too, right? Right?
Yes, that's you, bestie. But we're going to get into that. Yes, indeed. And listen, tonight's guest is truly a visionary, a leader, a kingdom-minded mover and shaker. Y'all, please help us welcome our brother, the founder and host of Rise Up Wealth Summit, the one and only Mr. Glenn Payne. Hey, Glenn.
Hey, what's up?
Thank you so much for being here.
I'm still on Rise Up Crack for a few more hours, so I'm just getting. I blame Sharice Lenore Riley for this one.
Wow. Y'all did a phenomenal job. Phenomenal. And I'm so glad to have you here with us tonight, Glenn. Thank you so very much.
Thank you.
Mr. Payne, the Rise Up Wealth Summit this year was phenomenal. Absolutely.
Bananas.
Phenomenal. I loved it. For those who may not be familiar yet, can you share with our audience what inspired you to create the Rise Up Wealth Summit?
Well, before it became Rise Up Wealth Summit, it was known previously as the Legacy Conference. And it came about from myself teaching FPU, which is Financial Peace University, at a local church. I've been doing it for now. I was doing it many years ago with my wife because we wanted to help people in the church, do better with money, God's way, in essence. And it also helps people in church to do better with money and also be able to save. And I realized that people really need that help. And then one day, while we're in the class, people start asking a ton of questions. I'm thinking, well, if I could just have everybody in one room, all the answers to their questions once and for all, instead of having multiple classes, I can just do one big thing. So I decided to do a workshop back then. The first time we did that workshop, my wife took her grocery money and spent some money, buy some food, and cooked it and had it right there, ready to go. People came, they ate, they went home. We went home with leftovers and saying, well, why did we just do that for? Why we didn't ask for donations? We knew nothing about donation. We're just thinking to just help people. And that's the big joke we started off with. We all tell people we started off by giving our grocery money to pay for y'all food to eat. Not thinking well. But I think it was more of the heart to serve, the heart to give, and the heart to see lives impacted. And ever since that time, we've been doing the same thing over and over. Rinse and repeat. The Legacy Conference, where we started to help people in the community. We had speakers coming in to help change people's life in terms of generational wealth, legacy planning, real estate, and it just grew over the years. And about 2 years ago, we changed the name from Legacy Lives Here Summit to now Rise Up Wealth Summit. It's just an area where we decide to rise up people in their life. MJ, you're muted, sir. Bestie, you're muted, MJ.
And with that being said, you spoke about the food y'all spent y'all money on. This year, the food was great. It was absolutely top notch. But besides that, why is the message of building generational wealth so crucial for our communities, especially right now more than ever?
Wait, I have to turn my plug off for politics. Let me just turn it off for 1 second as a nonprofit owner. So we know what's happening in our world right now. We've seen the foolery taking place in our current situation. We are already known to be in the back end of economic development in terms of prosperity and having legacy passed on. A friend of mine was talking to us a couple of days ago that we as a community tend to pass on a legacy of debt and struggle. And I don't want that for anyone else. You can have debt, but guess what? Get rid of it before next generation takes it. We should not be passing on one generation of lack to next generation. We had to break that chain and begin to build generational wealth, because even the Bible talks about leaving he didn't say leave an inheritance, he said leave a godly inheritance. It's not talking about, oh, Holy Ghost fire. It's talking about leaving something that the next generation can take from you and build upon and be fruitful. Why would you want to give next generation struggle? Because you've been to struggle. So with our program, with our summit, we want to help people truly learn to build up generational wealth, learn how to manage their money, learn how to leave a true standing legacy. And that's why we honored MJ a few days ago, because MJ is leaving a legacy with his golden voice, leaving a legacy with his footprint, leaving a legacy everywhere he goes. People see MJ and they at the event, people are like, wait, is that MJ talking on the roof? You were sitting down there, but I kept hearing your voice. Like, why is MJ in the microphone? Why is he talking? People who actually knew your voice, everyone kept saying, wait, why is MJ doing the voiceover?
Mm-hmm.
Recognize your voice, MJ, just by you talking. Even though you changed your voice for every single person that you did, they still heard your voice. That is your voice print, like your fingerprint. That's your voice print. Now, wherever your voice goes, people knows it's you, MJ. That's one of your legacy traits. But also, you know what? Your community is impressive, MJ. People don't understand you are a tall, silent giant. You do stuff in the community, but no one knows. You just behind closed doors, you do it.
And you know what, Glenn, you're absolutely correct, because MJ, everybody see us. We hang out in the community all the time, and you said one thing about his voice being his legacy, his imprint in society, in our community. And I guarantee you, everywhere we go, once we start recording and he's live on location, you should see the amount of people that gather around us. And it's like, wow, listen to him. His voice is so captivating. And I heard people talking like, MJ, that's you, MJ, who was sitting next to us. And they kept hearing the voice. And I think he got a lot of bookings for his voiceovers. It was actually a lady there that came up to us. Actually, when I walked up, MJ was already speaking to her, and she was like, "Hey, I need an actor for this movie. Hey, bring it on, bring it on. We do it all." So, Glenn, we gonna get to MJ, but we first want to handle as far as generational wealth and what it's all about. You did a phenomenal job, like I said, yourself. Shout out to your beautiful wife, Afisha Payne, who stood right by your side through it all, and your dynamic team, from the volunteers to the parking lot attendants to the servers getting the food. The hospitality was top notch, and it's a reflection of the leader itself. And last year was my first year, and just seeing it build over the years, I don't know how you're going to continue to top it every year. But, talk about this. Let's talk about at the summit, there was such a dynamic range of speakers and experiences. How do you go about selecting your speakers and your partners to bring your vision to life at the Wealth Summit?
I was just talking to MJ today about something similar to that. When someone asked me, "So how do I get on your list to become an honoree?" I say, "Ask God."
Wow.
And MJ started laughing, but he agreed. He said, "Ask God." Like, so I literally. So the story behind my events in the last 5 years, God has literally given me the year before the next year. So I already have just the honorees, at least 3 honorees already selected by what God already told me. This person, that person. Like last year when God said, "Call Lady Des and select her," I literally was in my office working, and I heard, "Lady Des, she is your next community pillar." I'm like, what? I don't know her like that. I know her, but I don't know her like that. He says, "Well, I want her to be elected, to be selected for an honoree." I called MJ, and that whole thing began spiraling. But God usually is the one who begins to tell me what He wants to talk about. So here's a prime example. I did not have the financial guy on my roster for this year to speak. He was originally not on it. I was going to move a different direction and do more of an entrepreneurial business mindset summit this year, focus on generation of not money but also entrepreneurship. I'm in a workshop, and God started telling me, "You see Denzel right here? Why is he not on your roster?" I said, "Well, God, I already going to make it this way." He said, "Well, is it my event or your event?" He literally told me, "Go call the guy, go talk to him now and tell him he is your speaker." So God literally tells me ahead of time who He wants selected, what topic He wants to cover. And then from there, we move into that category of choosing the speakers, selecting them. And then we start having a conversation with the speaker saying, "Well, here's what we're feeling that client is asking for." And then now move into that area. For example, this year we had finance. We had a person talking about real estate for the first time. Investment. We had a lawyer on deck talking about generational wealth, but also tying it with legacy planning with real estate. That is new because everyone's talking about, well, how do I protect my land? How do I protect my real estate? How do I make sure when I die, my kids get the land, not the probate itself? So all those topics we went and looked for. We actually feel the pulse of the community, and we bring those topics to the top of the burner, and we ensure the speakers can be there for it. Same thing applies to honorees. We actually select them just like that too.
Absolutely. And one of the themes that stood out was not just about making money, but legacy. So in your opinion, what is the first key steps that families should take to start building real obtainable, touchable generational wealth?
Repeat the question once again, please, because you asked a loaded question there, sir.
Okay, so the question is, what would you say to families that is the first key step they should take to building real generational wealth?
Stop spending money. It's when I say stop spending money, stop spending unnecessary money. It's kind of funny you ask that question because at our church we attend, the Faith Center, the entire church is on a financial fast for the entire year. We will only spend what is necessary to pay the bills. We will not do above and beyond spending on trips that we're not preparing for. We will not spend money on buying expensive shoes or things like that. That's the first area because a lot of us, we tend to go into financial debt because we didn't plan for these things. So the very first I'll tell people is stop spending unnecessary money. Spend what is needed for the household to maintain the household, maintain the lifestyle, but without being frivolous. Secondly, find out what's your credit score. Get your credit get your credit correct. Start working on your credit because that's the first thing you got to start working on to make sure you can start building your own stability. Because before you can start building generational wealth, you got to first work on your wealth because you can't pass on what you don't have. Begin to build financial stability. Start saving at least 10% of your income. When you reach that sort of income, start making emergency funds. Build that area first. Once you complete building your emergency funds, at least 6 months of your bills. If you can't hit 6 months, try 3 months at least of that area. Then move from there. You're gonna start making investment plans. Like start investing in things that are substantial, things that give you a return. Many of us would like to buy cars or buy things that does not give us a return on investment. Start looking for stocks, look at investments. Right now, I know people are having 401ks turn into 100ks because of the trust. The car is crashing, so we're losing 41 to 101ks. Right now, it's becoming real crazy. But guess what? If we learn to diversify our money and put it money where it works the most, that's going to also help. 2, find ways where we can come together as families and invest in land. I know a lady right now that what she's doing right now, she's helping families build generational wealth by buying land. And this company, you don't even need to have your credit score checked. You utilize your money. If you can pool money together as a family and invest in land, invest in property, invest in stocks, things like that, will can pass on generational wealth. That's the very first step. It's a very loaded question. I will take a while to go down in different categories, but that's what I'll tell you first off. Start eliminating your debt. Get out of the debt quick as possible. Start building wealth by saving, by investing. And then having these tough conversations with your family, asking them, where do you want to be in next 1 year, 3 years, 5 years, 10 years from now? Where do you want your children to look like? Like, for example, Lady Des, she has a daughter, Brianna, I believe her name is right, Brie. She has a business dealing with her hat. Her hat is extravagance, what she does. But I don't believe that business was started by her only. I believe Lady Des has a spark in her to do that because Lady Des is known as a fashionista. So with that, her daughter picked up those traits and now she's starting that business. I believe that business will continue to grow. And if done right, her grandchildren or her children can take that on and continue building generational wealth. Business is essential. We cannot work for ourselves and build generational wealth. I don't have a job only. I made sure I made a generational wealth opportunity to build business with my investments. So I will say that's part of the things you can mention in starting out.
You know what, Glenn, it's so interesting that you said that, because as I also looked around the room this year at the Wealth Summit, I did see a lot of youth that was there. And aside for us in one room as adults, obtaining this knowledge, this wealth of knowledge, there was a whole nother section of youth that was coming up. And that's something that we didn't have growing up. And especially in our Black culture, it was said in one of the segments how in our culture, we prefer to look wealthy and not actually be wealthy. And we feel like if we can just look the part, that's enough, but it's not. So I want to ask you this, and you kind of hit on it a little bit, but I just kind of want to go into in depth about how do we, or how can someone shift their mindset, you know, about their wealth, especially if they haven't been brought up, you know, having these conversations with their family about wealth and creating generational wealth.
The first thing I'll say is what I've learned about just recently about financial trauma. It exists.
Yes.
Financial trauma exists, and it not only exists, it transfers generationally. So the very first thing I'll tell anyone is begin to shift your mindset by stop saying certain words we've heard. Like I grew up hearing my parents and grandparents saying, if it's not one thing, it's the next. Mm-hmm. Or the big B word, which I would not say on this channel because I'm not broke. I refuse to say I am not broke. I am wealthy.
Right.
But those key things we talk about, we have to first of all live within our means and not live above it. So changing our mindset about wealth, changing our mindset that wealth is not only for the mean and wicked people, it's for us too. I've heard people say, "Oh, it's only for the white people." No. Wealth to me, wealth is our birthright. But the thing is, how do we manage it that we contain it or sustain it? So after you got your mindset right, then start talking about building it in a different direction. How do we now come together as a community of families to continue to grow it? So mindset begins everything. Once your mindset changes, then anything is possible in terms of shifting your trajectory.
Awesome. MJ, I think, can you see the chat?
Yeah, I'm gonna jump over to the chat. Micah Persons, who is a member of the photography world, sometimes our personal photographer and a member of Sincere, says, Glenn, thank you so much for listening to God's voice, because you never know who you're blessing. Fab jumped on as well. She sends blessings. Let me see who's over in Lady Dez's chat.
I see Afisha.
Oh Lord, Afisha's online.
Yes. She said mindset shift.
I should have brought her on the camera too.
Yes.
Yeah,
Hey, listen,
you got. That's the first thing.
To log in. Glenn,
I'm serious. If you really, she's not coming online tonight. She is still knocked out, tired from the event. Someone called today, Glenn. I saw your wife. She's a hard working woman. I said, yeah, she was working hard that event. She was
most definitely, because when we first got there, she was on stage. She was singing with the youth, leading praise and worship, and then she went from there and took off those heels and just went running. So Miss Payne was a very, very busy woman the day of the summit.
Yeah, she literally handled that portion where, that's it. But to be honest, listening to God's voice is critical, because there are many times I wanted to quit. There are many times I came this close to telling everybody, peace out, I'm done, because this is too hard. And I believe that with everything comes a mantle. Now, people always think mantle is all the pastor or the preacher. This is my mantle. This is where God has me to do. So I'm learning now to take this on and really run with it at the end of the day. There are many times I call MJ, I don't feel like doing it today. And just say, what are you talking about? These are things that I've learned in a time that even that portion takes your mindset to really dig in. How many times are we gonna say we want something, but we don't actually work hard for it? Many of us say, hey, I want to be wealthy. But how many times are we actually gonna get up and make steps to get wealthy or to get out of debt? Many of us say, man, I can't wait to get out of debt. I'm gonna have money in my account. But doesn't that first start with the mindset and hard work and a strategy? Many of us are planning to. Many of us have a thing on the wall. We say, we're gonna have what's it called again? The New Year's resolution. We make all these lists. We say we're gonna do this, and this. But where's the strategy and where's the mindset to accomplish it? I had some goals this year. Did I meet them? Not all of it. But guess what? I'm hitting the reset button and say, okay, how do I go out to the drawing board with my new renewed mindset, with my mentor now pushing me? How can I make this different? And that's all part of legacy. Legacy doesn't always mean money and wealth. It also means the traditional of passing on knowledge. Because many of us in our community, we don't hear that. I've had people tell me at the event and even offline, say, Glenn, I never knew about this whole money thing, because mom and dad didn't talk about money. They'll talk about paying the bills. That's all I kept saying. Pay the bill. That's all. Pay the bill. They never say about saving. Never talk about how do I invest. They never talk about how do I buy a house. It's always been about one thing: pay the bills and then retire and die. That's about life. We got to change that mindset.
Now, Mr. Payne, I'm gonna try to not get big-headed over here, but at the summit, you and your beautiful wife, Miss Afisha Payne, did something special. So y'all honored me with this right here, the Community Impact Award. And I must say that I am truly, truly still humbled. But what led you to create this award, and why is it important to honor community work as a part of wealth building?
My mom always told me as a child, always give people their roses while they can still smell it or see it or hold it in their hand. Growing up in a household where my grandmother raised me and my mom was always there, it made me remember that sometimes they're what we call the unsung heroes. People are in the behind the scenes are working, doing things. They don't expect an award. They don't look for the award, but they want to do something to impact lives. So when I realized a few years back that I saw a lot of people doing great things, but no one acknowledged them, it made me realize there was a missing gap there. And I don't give an award because I want to give you a nice award. Hey, I like him, give you a award. No, you have to be actually doing a work in the community or making an impact in someone's life. So the very first year I did it, I gave an award to a young man that changed his entire life. Uncle Eddie Hall. Uncle Eddie Hall came on. I gotta say hi to Uncle Eddie. But to me, giving these awards to people, acknowledging what they do is tremendous. Like this year, I never knew a particular gentleman just came and said, Glenn, this is the first time I get a reward in my life. And he's been doing a lot of work with the youth empowerment. He says, my first award. And to see him almost break down because he realized his mom passed away and now he's getting an award for what he does, because it's just, for him, is what I do, because I love to help people. And to see his life transformed from that one award, that award now is going to push him now to do more greater things. Oh. Imagine if you work hard all your life and no one ever tells you good job.
Oh,
you don't really look for it, but that one good job gives you the fuel and fire to not give up, not quit, but keep pushing. The day I called Lady Des and say, hey, we acknowledge you. She said the voice of God was on the phone. That was not the voice of God. That was me talking, but MJ made it sound like an emergency. And I said, Lady Des, we see you, we hear you, and we acknowledge you for your hard work in the community. And she screamed out loud. I didn't know why she was screaming, but she dropped the phone and screaming. But for me, it made me realize that just by her reaction, she felt the appreciation, knowing that someone sees her, hears her, and understands her. A lot of us in the world community, we are always fighting for that place where we ask people, I don't look for acknowledgement, but can someone acknowledge my work? I'm working, I'm planting seeds in the vineyard. That's why I do this, just to help people realize that, hey, we hear you, we see you, and keep going forward.
You know what, Glenn, just you bringing that up and taking me back to that moment. And MJ was involved as well, because you said you reached out to MJ, to contact me. And I was like, when he said Glenn Payne, I was like, I know the name, but like you said, we didn't know each other like that, and I know you have came to my event in the past, or and we have rubbed shoulders here and there, but nothing like me. He's sure he has the right person, and it's just an honor when people think of you, because people don't have to be nice. People don't have to think of you. What my husband and I do, it's not for publicity. What MJ and I does, it's not for publicity.
Hold on. Before you go further, please clarify. I am not your husband. You have a whole husband over there. So
Eddie Hall Jr. Eddie Hall is her husband. Hence the word Hall, not Smith. Hall.
Yeah.
Now I will say this: Smith just simply is the backup in case anything goes down. He pulled out the gun, start shooting to protect Mrs. Hall.
Yes, Hall. He does at all costs. And matter of fact, wait. I know I was talking, but let's put a plug in it. Joe Fan is on. So, hey, Joe, because the guns almost came out on Joe Fan, which is my husband's best friend. So, shout out to Joe Fan.
Joe Fan, what's up, bro?
You see, Eddie Hall hired the right man to protect his wife wherever she goes.
He did, because real quick, I know we going off topic, but Joe Fan walked up to me at this event, and MJ had never seen Joe Fan in his life, and he was like, wait, hold up, who is this dude? And then he takes my phone, he was asking about my husband, and then he was just, because Joe Fan talk a lot of smack, so he was talking smack, and MJ was ready. Oh my gosh, and I was like, wait, MJ, this is my husband's best friend. But anywho, back to Rise Up. But so what we've done definitely is not for publicity or to be awarded. But like you said, Glenn, over the years, when people have watched you, I didn't even know you were watching. I didn't know you were looking. I didn't know you even knew who I was to that capacity. And I tell people all the time, before there was social media, we were working in the community, in ministry. So it's just an honor when people recognize you and just come back and say thank you. I see you. It means a lot, and I'm big on that. On even when I'm out and I see people doing something nice, I stop right there and give them a compliment. You know, MJ don't like it all the time because he said I speak and compliment everybody. But you know, I think it makes a person's day better when you just say thank you. I appreciate what you do. Or you know, the hot dog lady, wave at them and say hello, good morning, how are you?
Well, not
The
the hot
parking
dog lady
attendant,
too.
I'm saying hello because you know I think everybody should feel welcome because you have no idea what they're going through. And you know, just that night, it was a beautiful I mean, that day it was just a beautiful moment, Glenn. You can just feel the love in the air, the love in the room, the fellowship. It was just awesome. What advice would you give to those who are serving in the community, but sometimes feel like they're overlooked? And it's like, does anybody see me? And they're getting discouraged.
Believe it or not, sometimes we believe no one is seeing us, but someone is watching us from a distance. And if you step back and really assess it and say, God, I'm doing this for you, and we change our mindset. We don't look for others to see us, but we start saying, God, I dedicate my time, my energy towards you, and I want to make sure that you are the focal point. It helps us to alleviate that external pressure of desiring to be acknowledged. Now, yes, we as human beings, we crave for that attention of someone saying, good job, or I see you. But if no one ever sees you, does that mean you stop doing what God told you to do? I'm going to hit on the song that MJ has now fell in love with. The song says, I was here. I lived, I died, I was here. The whole point of the song is talking about we are here by God's design, orchestrated to fulfill a direct purpose and a mission, then leave this earth realm. So if we're doing something because God said do it, and because we don't hear a good job, it doesn't mean we should stop. Do it while people are not seeing it. Just do it. Just keep going. Because guess what? The reward that you're about to get may not be now, maybe delayed, but when you receive that award, it may be physical award, like an award physical, like what MJ got, you got, or it might be the award where God gives you the grace award, where someone says, listen, I see you, and change their life. I've seen stories where people were doing stuff at their job, thinking no one ever saw them. Their boss walks in and change their life totally by giving them, say, a house or car or whatever, something crazy. And they fall onto the ground because they realize that someone was actually watching them. The story behind this was one time I was doing something not knowing people see me. I did it behind the scenes because everyone knows me. I'm a shy guy. I don't like being seen. I don't like being in the limelight. Sharice knows that, and she's gonna call now too. I do not like attention. I don't. I'm behind the scenes. Just do what I do. Even at my event, people always say I'm always moving around. Yeah, I'm behind the scenes. I have a hard sitting down because I like to keep moving. So for me, in my experience, I like to be behind the scenes working. I do it because that's what the passion inside of me is. But one day someone actually saw it, and I was acknowledged at a different level that I've never expected before. The person actually gave me a job.
Wow.
With no major interview, just passed, got it through. They sponsored my event every single year. Whatever I've ever needed, they provided for me. I can never say I'm hungry or sleepy or anything or need anything in my life, because all I gotta do is they always know, Glenn, I got your back. You know why? They saw me working. Just get busy and keep being busy working. Someone or somewhere along the line, God is going to send someone to bless the knuckles off of you. Don't look for that.
Absolutely.
Just keep moving.
Absolutely.
Look at MJ. Exactly. MJ is a perfect example.
I am so excited because I also was one of the ones that was like, wow, you know, you do see me, or somebody sees me and the work that I do. It is finally not paying off, but it's being appreciated, because a lot of times, you know, people see the testimony, but they don't see the test and what it takes to get through to the end. So receiving the Community Impact Award was really, really big. And, you know, it takes a lot to move me and get me excited. But yeah, it was one that really, really makes you feel a part of community. And with that being said, I had the opportunity to meet the young lady who won the Starbucks gift card, Tanya, who was doing one of the vendors who was talking about the business that she has that does facials. So I connected with her, and I'm going to do some stuff with her. And I'm taking over the Real TV network as the voice, and yeah, Sharice, yeah, I'm taking over, and not only that, becoming
Sharice, my girl.
Media relations for, and I have a new title as media relations specialist as well, but that's coming as well. But Glenn,
yes, yes. Media, as of April 28, 2025, at around 5 o'clock, MJ Smith became the media relations for Rise Up Well Summit Legacy Lives Here. And he's excited for that role.
I'm excited about it. I really am. But Glenn, tell me this: how can being a community servant and an impact maker also be a part of a person's wealth and legacy?
Do you remember the story of Abraham and Joseph and Mike and all those people in the Bible? That's the legacy right there. I tell people all the time, when I leave this earth, I want to leave an oily fingerprint left behind. That when people look at the fingerprint, they say, "Oh, I remember him. Oh, I remember the destiny. I remember him. I remember he paved the way for others to become chain breakers." That's why my title says Chief Generational Chain Breaker, because my mission is to break some generational chains in people's lives, not in just financially, but through what they're going through. There's some people I've met in the past few weeks that God literally put in my face and say, tell them this or pray for this. You would never know what your purpose is until God starts to align you with the people that you're supposed to touch or impact. And I believe that's when you are walking in your purpose, when you are aligning yourself to purpose, everything comes into alignment with the whole aspect of your question you just asked. It just begins to click. Like Lady Des was meant to be Lady Des, to be a radio personality, to be someone who writes books, someone who's a fashion person, someone who helps to encourage women and empower women. That's her purpose. But MJ was meant to be the golden voice that when people hear the voice, they know the voice of God has arrived. And he will, and his behavior, his attitude, his demeanor will tell people, although he's a big guy, he may have a serious face like he's mean mugging people, but behind that mean mug, he is the most gentle giant who is the most loving person who will take you and defend your purpose.
Yes, he will.
Like MJ and Lady Des, put them in one room and let someone be mistreated. You will see what happens in about 2.5 seconds. They will stand up and defend that person because they know in the core, that's part of their DNA, that when they leave this earth, the legacy of what they did, who they impacted. I heard a story about this guy. The family never knew this old man was so impactful. They thought he lived a normal, simple life because guess what? He was a janitor. But every day he went to work and he was being a janitor. But the people he impacted and loved, they never knew the impact that he did upon them. When the day he died and had a funeral, the church was full of people walking in, expressing their sympathies, and people were crying. The family was like, who are you guys? Oh, Mr. So-and-so, he impacted our life. When I was younger, when I was hungry and school, he gave me lunch. Oh, yeah, I remember him. When I fell down, someone was teasing me, he defended me. That's the legacy. You don't always have to pass on legacy of wealth. It could be a legacy of love, the legacy of being a protector, defender, a legacy of impact. And it's the word Community Impact Award, right? For MJ. He's impacted lives.
Yes.
We got to change the men because listen, I believe even tomorrow morning or 100 from now, when MJ's gone, he will still be considered a multi-millionaire, not necessarily in wealth only, but maybe multi-millionaire because of his love.
Yes. And you know what, Glenn, you're absolutely right. And I have a question that I wanted to ask MJ. And I'm going to let you all know the answer to this question. I'm going to answer the question first. And it's so good that you said that legacy is not just money and leaving wealth behind. It's knowledge. It's what you have done from the time that you were born to the time that you die. And
The
they always
dash.
say that dash in the middle is what matters, what you do in this life, and how you take it, how you treat people, what you do with what you have. You know, being thankful for little to have something greater, right? So I wanted to know, MJ, what was your favorite part of Rise Up, right? I'm going to tell you mine. I'm going to tell you mine out of all of them. And I think MJ already know what I'm going to say. It was LaShonda Johnson. Baby, I spotted her from across the room. I didn't know that she was a speaker or anything. It was just I love when people can walk in a room and not say anything, but you
turn
want to
heads.
know, who is that? Like she spoke volume without speaking anything. And then when she came and she did her little spiel, I'm like, yes, because it was all about engaging. It was about educating. It was about entertaining. And I think personality is everything, no matter what your skill is. No, if you can sing right, if people like you, if you can engage people, you're going to have their attention. And she hit on that, and she hit on that heavy because she's the pitch queen. So I really love that. And Glenn, I don't think you left no stone unturned. So MJ, what was your favorite part?
It's really hard to say that I had a favorite part because the whole event was definitely top notch.
Yes.
But if I had to pick out one moment, that one moment would have been when Glenn was presented with an award, because every year they get him and he cries like a baby, but he's so deserving.
He is. And a lot of times when you're in that space, you're always thinking of someone else. You're always thinking what I can do to make this event better. And people don't know on the back end the sacrifices that are being made to have these top-notch events. Did you see what VIP and everybody in the room received? They received. I wish I had the bag. We got big Rise Up duffel bags. I'm gonna tell you, my youngest daughter is still trying to get that bag away from me. She wants that bag. She's been asking since she's seen it. So we got bags. We got, I believe it was a nice.
I have a solution. I have a solution for her. If she came to Rise like I invited her to, she'd have got one of those bags. Yes. Just saying, Uncle MJ, talk to her. I told her, Uncle MJ. I told her.
You did. You did. And let me tell you, it was just every detail. Like I said, from the parking lot coming in to the end. Glenn, you deserve that award and so much more. And,
so it was kind of funny because my wife walking the stage. I'm like, Fisher, why are you holding your hand? What's that box? Because I already knew what it was because I saw the box. And the box, because I do awards for other as part of my business for everyone. I like, that's an award. Who's that award for? I say, you better not be for me, girl, because I don't need that today. Off stage is fine. I don't like the limelight. I don't like the camera light flashing me. I'm like, no, let's stop. And guess what? Both my two sisters was involved in this situation, this scandalous situation. Scandalous. And one right now on here saying, yep, and laughing out loud. I'm going to snatch her by here. I said on live TV, Sharice is in trouble because I found out Sharice Lenore Riley knew about the scandalous situation and had my wife involved in getting me an award.
Yes. and you deserve that. And I'm grateful.
They
that you
know.
had
They
a
know. I don't
team.
listen. I don't mind. Well, I do kind of mind your what. I don't like. How do I say this? I appreciate the award. I accept the award, but I love giving it more than taking it.
Listen, okay, stop
Wait,
right there.
hold
Go
on.
back.
Wait, yeah, exactly. Because Denzel, when he did his presentation, he
Yes.
said that the givers must
Giver
learn to
to
receive.
receive.
That
Oh,
is
now they want to
biblical.
the presentation. Now they wanted to speak when the speaker's talking. Now they want to hear what he said.
That was
Before they didn't want to come.
biblical. Uh-huh.
Listen, I was just finna go there, MJ. You are such a giver, and the givers need to learn how to receive. Just take it and say thank you.
I
Because
did.
they didn't have to, don't put the extra behind it though. You know, they know all of that. They know what kind of person you are. So, you know, just pray and ask God to help you to learn how to receive. To receive. Okay. Thank you.
Oh, when she came on stage, I'm like, Keisha,
Teach Glenn how to receive, woman of God.
literally, when I saw her face and the thing she gave me, looked like, baby, don't ask that question. You already know what it is. What it is. Just leave me alone. And then what she did was she made my bestie sister. Oh, what? He don't want him, mama. Okay, whatever, big sister. But to be honest, when Genevieve pulled out that award and say, Glenn, come here, I'm like, I don't want to come. And she said, and she said, Sharice, come get your brother. I said, oh Lord, it's getting serious because I knew the next thing was gonna happen was MJ, come get your brother. And then that's a whole other story. I received the award, I acknowledge it, I thank you for the award. Sharice, stop it. No, but seriously, those are the things that when we receive those kind of accolades, it hits hard. Because I was just telling my wife the same week, and I even told Sharice and somebody else, and they were even MJ. I think I told. Sometimes when your heart is so nice and so pure to people and helping people tend to take advantage of it. Mm-hmm. And that same week, I was feeling like people were just hurting me at that time. I felt like I've been doing so much and giving, that when I received the award, it just made everything else erase. Like all the feelings I was having just went away, melted away, because I realized, although I'm not doing it to be heard or seen or to be accoladed, it made me realize that, Glenn, we see you, we hear you, and we honor you. And that was the biggest thing to ever receive from my own wife. And then God made the way that he knew my two sisters being there in the building, Sharice and Genevieve Harris. It made it more, I ain't gonna cry. It made it more special.
Yeah.
Like during the event, I know for a fact MJ was crying and lying, saying it was his contacts. That's a lie from the pits of hell. His contact was not the reason, but he was crying, tears coming down here and here. That is not contact lenses. But to be honest, yes, I'm not a crybaby, but I really appreciate when people recognize the situation and really be step up for you. My wife, I appreciate it for that, because she the same way kept on saying, "Baby, I understand, Glenn. Don't, Glenn. I hear you. I see you. I feel you." And she was encouraging me, Glenn, don't let other people devalue you.
Right.
MJ had a call with me, a long call, like a therapeutic call, and he was giving me tough love. Glenn, if people want this own you or make you feel on this certain way, call me. Have them call me.
Glenn, you already we ain't even for the we not gonna talk about that right now.
No, but the whole fact is, when you have people who have your back, is the most important and is the most humbling experience to know when people have your back. Because the person asked question, how do you feel when people recognize you, but when people actually see you and have your back, and sometimes you don't even know they have your back until the fire gets hot. That's the most impressive feeling you could ever have when someone says, Glenn, I got your back. Right. And they pick you up off the ground when you're on the ground, knocked out. They pick you back and say, Glenn, keep pushing, keep going. I got your back.
You can't give up.
There are many times I wanted to give up. I can give an example. I want to give up about 3 times so far, and the one that gave me a look like, you're not doing this.
Mm-hmm.
Sharice called me. Oh, Glenn, I see you. Don't worry. You're not giving up either. No, I'm not on my watch. MJ said, not on my watch. I got my pistol ready. Not on my watch. Like literally, I've been told, no, you're not going to give up. Keep going. Don't give up. Keep pushing. That is what I call destiny helpers that God placed in your life at the right time, right season to make you move forward in your God-given purpose.
What is the thing? And listen, you can't give up now. You don't start as something great. You don't start as something big. And anytime God give us something, a lot of times it's bigger than us. It's greater than us. And I don't know how you do it, but you're doing it. And it's only,
I don't know either.
I do know how. It's by the grace of God that you're doing it, and at the levels that you're doing it. And God is placing you in front of people that is going to be able to 100% fund your vision without you doing anything, because what they have experienced, what they have seen, I have learned that you don't have to be in the biggest rooms, and you don't even have to pay the biggest price to be in these rooms. But when you take these steps through these smaller doors, you don't know who are in those small rooms. You understand? I have met the greatest people in the most smallest intimate spaces. And Glenn, that's what was there on Saturday. They were all mixed in the crowd. People didn't know who they were sitting next to, what people had in their bank accounts. We were all one. But I'm telling you, because of your faithfulness, because of what you have done, because of how you have impacted lives, people from all different walks of life, God is going to fund that vision. I don't even know why I'm saying this right now. And but I know it. I feel it so heavily in my spirit that it's going to fund your vision. Your vision will be funded. It will be.
It's yeah. So a few years ago, someone reached out. Someone's at an event, they were emceeing an event, and they said, "Glenn, where do you find these people? These people are not the average. They're like millionaires or people who are high status people. But they come to your event, they speak on your stage. Half of them don't even ask you for a dime because they say they want to be a blessing to you. And they just met you maybe 2 weeks ago, or 3 weeks ago, a month ago. How do you do that?" I said, "I don't know God."
Yes.
Just this event just a couple of days ago, someone called me, "Glenn, I'm blown away. Do you know who was in the room with you? In the room with us?" I was like, "Yeah, this. You say so casual, like, yeah, he's just him." But they're like, "Glenn, where do you find these people?" I started laughing because it brought my memories of years ago, and that all I could think about was what a person told me. People in my circle that's of high influence is not because of me. It's because of what God is bringing in my life to showcase His glory, that He's going to continue to grow this event to a next level. Last year, when someone asked me, "Glenn, how are you going to top this event?" My response was being tired. I said, "The heck I know. I don't know. God going to do it." When I walked in the room, when I left the room on this Friday night, seeing the room put together, I said, "God, this had to be you, because I don't know how I did this. The color scheme, the runners, no, I've never done it before in my life, but I put together the entire room." And people ask me, "Who did the room?" I said, "Well, my team and I put together, but the vision's in my head." And it made me look back and ask myself, where did I learn this creativity from? Not created like that. My mom is in the industry of hotel and hospitality, so maybe it came from there. But the creative side of me, I can't trace it. So it must come from God.
Yeah.
So if God placed that in me, then why should I shrink back or run from the call of doing what He told me to do? So,
right.
And I'm glad you said that. Why should you run from the call? Because anytime you sit me next to a millionaire, listen, it's all of that. So you can't run from the call. The next time they present you with an award, you stand there and you give them the biggest smile that Glenn Payne has.
The biggest thank you.
Well, listen. MJ didn't want to say thank you. He was like, "Girl, leave me alone." What made it? What? No, you asked the question. What was the most favorite part of the entire event?
Yes.
Believe it or not, for me, is the awards ceremony.
Wow.
Seeing people's faces light up, or seeing people's faces tear down with tears because they're like, it's like the award broke the camel's back. Where like they can't always wait. Like no one sees me. I'm doing all this work, but now I'm getting an award. It's like I'm actually being recognized, or I'm living in my purpose, and I'm actually I'm being rewarded for something.
Right.
To see Myrna, successful woman, received the award, and the first thing came to her mind was her mother. That she shared on stage about her mother walked to school miles and miles and miles just to learn to be educated in school. When her dad told her, "You don't have to do that. Just put man take care." You said, "No, I want to be more successful." To see a guy on stage saying, "My first award ever, and thank you." To see a famous person, wise, intelligent, say, "This is my second award. I don't get much recognition, but he is always giving." To see him stand on stage and look at his award and like in shock and awe.
Yes.
It made me say, "Okay, I've done it. That's it."
And you know what? I'm glad you brought up Myrna. That was another thing that caught my attention at the end, because she was your last honoree that received her award. And what was the other guy? I think MJ, you were sitting next to Irvison.
Irvin
I was
Plummer.
sitting next to I had Irvin Plummer on one side and I had Wise Intelligent on the other.
No, I purposely put MJ next to Wise. I actually put everybody together specifically for what they're going to do.
Wow. And I love what you said about Myrna. And that's the power of networking and being all in one room, because like I said, you don't know who is who you're sitting next to, what their bank account look like. At that point, all of us is on that same plateau, right? I love what you did, because you honored Myrna, and then you said, "Hey, what's his name again?"
Irvin Plummer.
Irvin.
Yeah.
Myrna was the one who donated and sponsored your event, and he was so amazed by that. And once the event was over and Myrna was leaving and I was greeting her and everything, and he walked over to her and he was like, "Hey, don't leave. I really want to say thank you for what you did." That was his first time ever interacting, ever meeting her. But you can see the sincerity of gratitude and thanks in his heart for what she did for his event. And that was just awesome to see. It was just awesome to see. So Glenn, I don't know if you realize to what capacity what you have done here, literally. And I wish that the information that I have received in the past 2 years, that I would have received it at a younger age. And so that's why I was glad.
With that being said, it's like they said, it's never too late. You know, at least you have the information now, and we can start now to make those pass for the generational wealth and the legacy leaving. It starts today.
Yes. And I was just right before we went on, I was having a conversation with my mother and my sister, even about the trust and probate and making sure, with the bank accounts and different things, making sure that people's names are on them, because of what I heard and what I learned from the lawyer that was there at the end as well. It just made much sense, because in our culture, we don't talk about death. We don't talk about trust. We don't talk about wills. We don't talk about any of that, because they are so afraid of having this discussion. But like you said at the beginning, Glenn, the time is now that we must have these discussions and have these sit downs with our families.
Yeah. Is no one never.
House in order.
No one never. That's the pretty much. We always think in our community that when we talk about wills and trusts, it's time to go die. No, it's not.
No.
But we tend to forget that we don't control the remote. We don't control the remote control of our life. We don't think we can turn off and on our lives. No, we can go tomorrow morning. We can go right this second. One of us could actually pass away on this life, God forbid. And if nothing is put together, then what kind of blessing are we leaving behind for the family member?
Right.
Sounds like
Right.
chaos and hurt and pain. The person. So I heard my lawyer once tell me, I hate to see people mourn the loss of a family member, but then grieve the loss of their life
Mm-hmm.
that they're accustomed living, because the person was not loving enough to prepare for me. Because when you don't prepare for the death and transition, you'll tell your loved ones, I didn't care enough about you to prepare for you.
Mm.
It's the true fact, because you need to prepare and make sure everything's in place, because the will or trust tells the remaining life left of your life what to do, what to put this, who will get this, and it keeps it in the family. We never want to go through the grief of probate. It's never good.
Yeah. Yeah. That is so true. MJ, we have some more people who just joined the
Miss
chat.
Cynthia, she's one of our biggest supporters.
Miss Cynthia Robinson, she just joined the chat. She said, I totally agree with her 100%. She's just basically agreeing. And what was this last one? That's time for us to really live. Yeah, absolutely. And she also said, because of your assets are safe and organized, it leaves direction of what your last wishes are.
Exactly.
Mhm. And that is so true. So Glenn, we've been on here and it's time for us to go. Our time is so far spent. But Glenn, before we let you go, how can people stay connected with you and learn more about the next Rise Up Wealth Summit or initiatives you're working on? Listen, y'all, they already in motion.
I sent out yesterday the Rise Up Wealth Summit 2026 flyer already, and people like bust up laughing, saying, Glenn, you don't play. I said, why? I can't play. I don't have much time left. They said, we might not have much time. I lost a friend recently, a good friend of mine, a local pastor, good friend, like a big brother for me. And what it taught me was time is fragile. We don't know when our clock is going to run out.
Yeah.
So we tend to think, oh, I got next week, I got this to do. But when I realized that when God gives you a mission and a mandate to move forward with it, we gotta move swiftly. So yes, the event is already pre-planned. Then the theme for next year is Ignite. The official flyer was the date went out yesterday, saying the date is now April 25th, 2026. That's a whole year in advance. We've already been.
So
just
there's
tonight,
no need for anybody to plan events on that day. None. So you don't have no reason. Okay, I'm sorry.
MJ.
I'm just saying.
Media assist. Yes, okay. So what had happened was, I ain't gonna say. So tickets are already on sale as well, by the way. Early bird. When I say early bird, these tickets are called pre-release. They're so low, you could buy 200 of them and still get the room full of people.
Wow.
For a child, it's $25.
What?
For an adult to enter right now is $50. For
Mhm.
VIP, it's $65. That's how low it is right now for pre-release.
Well, they better jump right on it. So Glenn,
Guess what?
also
the swag for the swag bags and everything for next year is already here.
Wow.
The landers are already here. Half the bags are already printed for next year already. That sounds kind of crazy, but when God give you the vision for like 2 years in advance, you already planned purchase orders. You already bought in bulk to go for 2 years or 3 years.
Yeah. That's awesome.
So with that being said,
tonight, God already gave me the iconic man of the year 2026 already.
Wow.
Okay. So, okay, that's way mind blowing. But with that being said, you know what? I have to ask you for some final words of encouragement that you could leave with our viewers about rising up, building wealth, and impacting their community. What would you tell them?
Generational wealth begins with you. You are called to be a generational chain breaker. Everything rises and falls upon your purpose in life. We were born not just to come to live and exist and go, but we're called to make an impact in our lives. So the question for you is, will you be a generational chain breaker, or will you continue the legacy of what your parents left before you? It's time to rise up and make that shift now and truly become what God has called you to be, not what you think you've been to do. Rise up. Let's go. Ignite that fire. Ignite the passion. Ignite the purpose. Ignite your legacy. Let's roll.
That is what's up, man. That was great. Y'all, we had an awesome conversation tonight. Thank you, Glenn. We appreciate you for your vision, for your leadership, for you making a difference, and congratulations to my bestie, the very own, the golden voice himself, Mr.
MJ. Put the award in front of your shirt, MJ.
Impact Award honoree.
There you go. There you go, sir. And he's so proud of his award.
He is.
I really am.
Glenn, because his got the rise up in color. Mine's just etched in there, but it's okay. It's still good.
Well, let me just say once again.
The funny thing is, MJ is so special. He even has a bonus award too.
Yes, I do. I do have a bonus award that I'll probably have for a few months. But thank you all. Thank you, family. Thank you, Glenn. Thank you, Miss Alphesia, because you know what? We are definitely going to rise up, and we're rising up together.
That's right, family. Remember, wealth isn't just about dollars. It's about destiny. Let's keep building, keep believing, keep creating legacy. Y'all hear me? Keep building, keep believing, and keep creating legacy. Until next time, this is Conversations with Them Too. We're going to keep these conversations going. God bless you. I'm your girl, Lady Des, and that's my bestie, y'all.
MJ Smith, and we'll see you guys next week. Same time, same place. Much love.
Good night, everybody. Thank you, Glenn.
Good night.